Forbes India Presents Interface Design Guild.
Hello and welcome to Forbes India Presents Interface Design Guild, a series that traces the powerful connection between design, societal growth, and the evolving character of the spaces we inhabit. As we face accelerating environmental shifts, architecture stands at the front lines of resilience. And today, I will be discussing designing for resilience to discover climate-responsive design strategies with Sanjay Wadhwa, Managing Director, SWBI Architects, and Agradeep Mondal, Managing Director, India and SARC, Interface Floor India. Welcome, gentlemen. Pleasure to have both of you.
Thank you.
So, Sanjay, let me begin by asking you first to define for us, what do you mean by climate-responsive architecture in pure practical and actionable terms?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good start to a conversation because resilience and climate-responsive architecture are all interlinked. And basically, we need to first understand what is climate-responsive architecture. To our minds and to most architects and designers, it is basically where every element of a building or a development in a building situation or in an urban scape responds to its location and every climatic attribute or a parameter that has been allocated for that element of the building.
Right.
For example, we need to see in India or elsewhere in the world, we've got various climatic zones. And we need to be conscious of the fact that where we are building, whom we are building for, why we are building. And our design solutions need to be catering to that particular climatic zone, whether it's hot and arid, whether it is a sort of a coastal climate, or what should I say, something like a composite climate here in Delhi or most of the North Plains, where the temperatures vary day and night and so on and so forth. So the strategies that we designers revolve around where we are locating, the site context. It has to be responsible and responsive to its surrounding, has to sort of be in harmony with the nature so it's least disruptive. And there are various strategies that we typically deploy, and most of them, of course, being what is a passive approach to to design or to the solutions, so that our sort of reliance on, or rather I would say over-reliance on mechanical and active system is reduced. Ultimately, we want to create buildings environments which function well but consume least amount of energy. Hence, the carbon footprint is minimized.
Right.
And how do we do that? We do that by, there are very simple strategies which have been in practice since long, and most of the architects and designers do follow. For example, I'll just break it down in 2 or 3 or 5 for the top considerations. One is, we call it the orientation. If we are in the north zone here in Delhi, then there's a particular way that we orient our buildings. The form optimization, the shading sort of elements that we deploy in our buildings, roof treatments, facade treatments, active and passive both to a large extent, motorable louvers, and of course, a lot of it then we need to consider, particularly when we are designing here in Delhi, that any external fenestration which comes on the building, we need to consider that so much of dust and pollution which we have, how do we maintain?
True.
So that links us to the resilience part of our conversation.
Beyond the building itself, Sanjay, how does resilient design really contribute to the larger social and economic well-being of a community?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Buildings are just but a small component of an overall urban or a regional fabric of the society. Whatever we do as architects or as planners, or regional planners, urban planners, transport planners, all has to sort of interweave into the overall socio-economic framework of the city or the region. And so what it does actually is that, and I just want to broaden the definition or the spectrum of what is resilient design here. Resilient design does not necessarily mean very sort of safe and secure and strong and maintainable buildings, but it also means, as we talked about earlier, climate responsive architecture. Right. So the two are sort of totally linked together. And so when we plan these kind of buildings to last or framework to last over a period of time, it creates, some kind of a feedback loop within the socio-economic framework of the society. And what I mean by that is that any positive sort of action that we take reinforces the second positive action and third and so on and so forth. Which means that if we are planning for example, a development which is a flood-prone area, or is a very hot and arid area, or is in the coastal area, has a high rainfall, etc., etc. So unless we plan those developments which are, in harmony with the nature, we have seen all flash floods here, which are totally untimely.
Yeah.
Rainfall this year, not just in India, all of the world has been totally unprecedented. We've been having a lot of heat waves, the sort of urban heat island effect, which is increasing every time. So unless we plan developments which take into consideration the marginalized society of people who inhabit, people who are well-to-do will certainly have air-conditioned buildings, will have seismic or very large extent, I won't say earthquake-proof, but seismic-resistant structures. So they're, by and large safe, they're prepared. Yeah. They also have the economic means to, overcome any kind of. But the vulnerable society, which is, so our job as planners is really to create planning which is resilient, which does not necessarily, because of any untoward incident here and there, big or small, big of course you can't help it, but the smaller ones, they're not displaced, which means that their sort of social and economic vulnerability is kind of reduced.
Sanjay, can I just take this point further? If you could also tell us a bit more about the adaptive materials that you believe can really enhance resilience when it comes to designs, and what sort of performance characteristics really make them suitable for all sorts of purposes.
Adaptive materials are the one which automatically change their physical and chemical properties, as the need may be, and as they respond to the external stimuli. You have this sort of, T-shirts, which automatically open when you're running or you're sweating, it opens the valves of the fabric, and it's a breathable.
Sweat-wicking fabrics.
It's a breathable fabric.
Yeah.
Similarly, in the medical fraternity, medical domain, you have the stents which have always been there, and they kind of, adapt themselves. In our construction trade or domain, if I may say, it's a little bit in the nascent stage. There have been various studies going on, experimental in nature, I would say, and for various reasons, logistics or otherwise, or financial or economic reasons, they've not been so much in use. But some of them definitely are getting a lot of traction, a lot of popularity.
So, Agradeep, in the context of retrofitted spaces, where the resilience and strength of existing stock really matters, I want to understand from you, how can flooring solutions support the upgrade or change of use?
Well, I think carpet tiles are the right solution, one of the right solution for a retrofit thing, and especially with interface. So we have something called tactile, and that's the carpet will be floating on. So it's very easy to place the carpet. It's a modular carpet, and you have tactiles which are self-glue. It's a tape which is you don't need any adhesive, nothing. Also in a retrofit, since it's a modular carpet and modularity is the nature, you can move around and and just not do any harm to the stock that you already have.
Yeah, so basically it doesn't really affect you in the long run, because the base stays there, and the modular carpets can also be taken with you in case you have a change of space in future. So that really fits into budget in most of the cases.
Anything which you do which does not go into the landfill is fundamentally sustainable.
Right.
Reuse, repurpose, reconfigure. The word RE does not mean real estate. The word RE means repurpose, reconfigure, reuse.
Yeah.
So I think what he mentioned, of course, is absolutely right. Carpet tiles are, it doesn't go into the landfill. Either the tenants, when they move in, if it's in good condition, they will reuse it, or else they'll take it back. I'm sure you have a buyback program or whatever program.
Take back program,
And then they recycle in their factory, use the entire nylon, because the material which is used in carpet tiles is virtually indestructible, if I'm not wrong. you know.
And RE comes in resilience as well. So,
RE comes in
Yeah.
with it, fantastic.
so yeah, it all comes together and makes that a stronger point. Sanjay, I want you to tell us a bit more about the potential of modular constructions that can be used to enhance adaptability and resilience of buildings. So what's the potential?
Oh, absolutely. It's all connected back to what we just talked about, RE. So modular construction is, it has all the attributes of RE. What does it mean? I'll start with the REs and then go to the others, whereas it can be repurposed. These are modular components. Components you can readjust and repurpose the way you want. It can be repurposed. It can be relocated. So I don't have to, if I want to just theoretically shift one building small box with components, with the prefabricated components to another location, one can theoretically do that. At the same time, many other advantages. It's scalable. You can easily scale it up. The speed of construction is something which we cannot imagine, and it's much faster. It is also, if I may say, because most of the modular constructions are, done in a factory control environment.
Yep.
You don't do at site.
Right.
So most often than not, the quality of construction of those elements is far better than what you can hope to get, in an in situ, which means on-site construction. Then I also will add on to it that the least disruption. For example, a tall 20-story building is to be constructed, and the entire site is disrupted. The neighbors are disrupted. The road network gets, affected. There is so much of pollution because of all that batching plants and various other things. The suspended particles which happen. So you're doing least amount of the site is not disturbed that much, and particularly, in a large-scale development. And also, as I said, scalable and relocatable. For example, I read somewhere earlier long ago that in the high-altitude areas where our, Indian Army and Siachen and all that, you can't construct there, right?
Absolutely.
You have to construct it off-site and then transport it there. So such locations, of course, it's pertinent and it's imperative. There's no other solution but for modular. But even for large-scale developments in cities and, where access is not a problem, I think modular construction is the way to go.
Agradeep, if I can bring you here, we have seen this massive push towards green buildings. They are all around us now. So when that comes into picture, what kind of competitive advantage does Interface's commitment to transparency and long-standing commitment to sustainability really give it?
Look, I think Interface is, it's just a coin word with sustainability, because we started this journey 3 decades back. I think the legacy itself speaks about a lot. And, today we deliver, it's completely transparent, and all our data is completely transparent. We have the EPDs everywhere present, where the designers can look up, they can choose, and it's very pertinent. Well, it's everyone's talking green now. It's a greenwash, basically, But you need to have the data, you need to have that legacy, you need to have that trust. So when you talk about Interface, I think the competitive advantage is that Interface comes with that trust of sustainability.
Thank you to both of you, Sanjay and Agradeep, for your insights into how really architecture can adapt, endure, and also inspire in a changing environment. It was a fantastic conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Resilience in design is resilience in spirit. It's a promise to build not just for today, but for generations to come. With that, it's a wrap on this podcast of Forbes India Presents Interface Design Guild. Thanks for watching.
Forbes India Presents Interface Design Guild.